Once upon a time, there was an empty pot. It wanted to be filled with water and get rid of the vacuum inside. So, one sunny morning, a little boy came and took it along. The pot started its journey with him. Every time they came across a river, the boy filled it a bit. The pot was gradually feeling happy and heavy as water started accumulating from all the river streams that came on the way. After a point of time, the pot was entirely full. For more water to go in, some had to be poured out. But the boy didn't make any such effort and kept it as it is. For the pot, everything became stagnant. Though it was full, what it contained will age and must be replaced after a period of time. It knew that. So after a couple of days, the boy drank from the pot. Some of the water was used. When they completed their journey, on reaching their destination, he felt exhausted, and so he bathed, using up most of the water in the pot. So he used up the stock. Now, the pot was again ready to welcome some fresh water. In life, if we replace the pots with ourselves, then this is as simple as letting go of ideas and belief systems that were fed till now, in order to embrace new ones. The rigid is immobile, whereas the flexible is mostly relevant as it moves with time. Electronic gadgets are human brainchild, and they get upgraded in a blink of the eye nowadays. That quickly. If machines can stop working when the version gets too old, why can't we, being the creators, remind ourselves to make space whenever it is time to be upgraded and updated?
Television helped me kickstart my journey as an artist, as an original artist, I should say. It gave me much more than I could have asked for. The musicians in the industry keep a tab on fresh, budding talents, new talents, of course, and it is easier for you to get noticed when the show gains popularity gradually. I was one of those lucky freshers who didn't have to introduce herself to composers. Preetham Da, Preetham Chakravarti, Bollywood's one of the most successful scenic composers, gave me my debut in Hindi films. Although I recorded for Jatin Pandit ji first, of the duo Jatin Lalit, for a Saurabh Shukla's feature film called I Am 24, but it was not very unnerving, to be very honest. Being the remake of an R.D. Burman classic, it is a song born many decades ago and aged yet ageless. When the original is graced by the tremendously versatile Asha Bhosle ji, all you need is grasping power. In Rohit Shetty's Golmaal Returns, Dada called me for an original song, newly made song. I reached his studio. Sachin Bhaiya was there, who's one of Sachin Jigar, today's music director duo. Played me the song once and then he said, "Ready for take?" In my mind, I was like, is he kidding me? Will I not get adequate time to practice? Am I going to mess up in my first break? A riot of questions bombed in my mind. But he was kind enough to a newcomer and he let me hear the track twice more. That was a phase I was hovering somewhere in between getting my techniques right and also getting my song right. Multitasking has never been my cup of tea. When I sang freely, I could emote it. But the studio microphone demands a singer who knows both the microphone and the song well. Till now, I had some great examples to follow as I prepared whatever has already been rendered by an established person. There was a familiar terrain. I never got a chance to dig within till then. That was my discovery of myself. It doesn't happen in one song, in one go, but I was glad the process had started. Bengal, my home, is a hub of art, music, and literature. Soon after that show, I started receiving offers besides Bollywood from Kolkata, and songs started pouring in from Bangla industry, Bangla movie songs, and also some album songs. The more I was exposed to different composers, I discovered that how different as people they are, which influenced their working styles. Some are easygoing and yet can successfully bring out the best from a singer. Some like over the top expressions, no pun intended, while some alter their needs according to the song and the needs of the song and do not really have a template. A senior composer in Bengal, Indradeep Dasgupta, once asked if I listened to a particular artist a lot. Although I was mostly naive, but here, what he tried to tell me, I understood it very clearly. What exactly he meant. And thank goodness he pointed it out. I reached a stage when I could handle new songs by then, but I was nowhere close to my own style. I was yet to discover that. Sometimes your vocal throw, texture, and modulation can resemble these of an artist or artists you prefer listening to or mostly listen to. I got this similar feedback, strangely, from many of my listeners since the time my originals started releasing. How swiftly times change. What used to be a praise for me feels like poison now. The music in my playlist had to be changed if I were to save my career. So, out of the numerous composers I have sung for, let me start with you first with the sessions which have been the best and also the scariest of all. This brings me to working with Ismail Darbar sir and his recording sessions. The well-versed listeners of Hindi film music are, of course, they have to be aware of his contribution to Hindi cinema and its music in the films he has scored for. And the way he got to know me was through a reality show where he came as a guest judge in one of the episodes. Soon after that, he called me for a song, and it was a dream come true. The admiration must be coming across from my face right now. Sitting in an armchair, sipping his tea and scanning the paper which had the song lyric is the man behind those grand albums, I thought, when I went to his first music sitting. It felt as if he was suddenly possessed with a melody when he started singing. Learning the song before recording was continuation of my dream, but its execution with the track on the microphone with the emotion that he expects is something else. He stressed very much on clarity of words and expression. If a singer passed these tests, he or she remains in the track. But the question is, how long will a 16-year-old take to crack all this and get it right? Age, life, experiences, and basic inclinations influence the performance of an artist, expressing romance, melancholy, cheerfulness, and primarily bringing the current mood of the character one is voicing is what playback singing is all about. In brief, what is it in detail? I would not have known if I missed the yelling episode which started at the console and ended there only after the song was done. It felt like a nightmare, honestly, at times. But I remember my mother's wise words now, which I disapproved of as a heartbroken girl. She said, "Somebody must be your well-wisher and wants your growth so badly that he doesn't care about being harsh and feels no need to filter his words." Now I know how true this is. After Bangla and Hindi, Tamil or Tamil arrived in my list when Vidyasagar sir introduced me down south. My tongue could sense the approaching war when I worked on the diction. The recording of my first Tamil film was Mandira Punnahai, started at sharp 7 pm. I was mesmerized with the soundscape, his temperament, and punctuality. South India is like an India within the larger India. Contrary to the previous experience, this felt like fun. Some people have that vibration, and their smile and patience can encourage the one in the singing booth to pull off the most difficult songs. I giggled every time he said, "Amma, again you're not smiling, you're angry." A quick way to remind me that it is a happy song, and I have to sound bright and cheerful and not serious. I did not learn the languages, but with more songs in all the 4 South Indian dialects, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, I understood their vocal culture and the way they throw the words. Now, I do not question why they write something and pronounce something else, so I unlearned the style that works in Bombay or Mumbai and Kolkata when I entered Varsha Vallaki, Vidyasagar sir's studio. And I continue to do that and vice versa. So let me take you all back to Mumbai. It is that show in which I met Ismail Darbarji. I also met several other established people of the industry. One of them was Himesh Reshamia. When you meet a renowned person, you sometimes tend to develop some preconceived notions about him or her. I had too. When he called me, I saw a person instead which did not fit with the image which I had of him in my mind. I met a man who I was not expecting he would be, so I was quite surprised. After having seen so much of success in the world he was in, someone can be so greedy for another chartbuster. That amazed me. Honestly, more than his music, his energy inspired me, and it still does.
Coming to a serene recording experience, I have to name this person, the one and the only, A.R. Rahman sir. Sometimes I feel like he is music personified. I reached his setup that day with my father in the evening. While I was waiting at his office, I gazed at the Oscar and mentally pinched myself. Is all of this really happening with me? The dubbing started around midnight as I had to wait the whole evening. But all of it was worth. After an enriching session, whole night, I took his blessings and left with the memory of a great song and an unreal night. I thought deep inside, when humility meets creativity, no accolade or award can describe that. This man was flooded with both. His music was special even before he went to the Oscars, to be honest. I also, with this experience, unlearned this idea that these international awards and recognitions can be a parameter of judgment, of talent. It is very silly for me. It's almost like I'm waiting for my neighbor to tell me if my child is worth celebrating or not. so that I can start valuing him or her more. I have seen this, unfortunately, at all levels in my country. I love India, but I don't really wish to inherit all of her tendencies. Let me stick to the people who represent India's music. This brings me to the next person.
The next person for me is like, in my opinion, he's like a pillar of today's music in India. He who makes me breathless whenever I listen to him singing Breathless. He is none other than Shankar Mahadevan. I don't think this man will ever run out of music and ideas, in this lifetime at least. I absolutely love, respect, admire, and sometimes envy him too. I developed a nice rapport with him in the same show I mentioned earlier. His spirit of winning and not letting go easily amazed everyone during the shoot. A few years passed and I get a call from him. Yes, I get a call from Shankar sir for a song. My father rushed me to the Yashraj studios. The recording happened very smoothly and he made the whole process very lucid. It was a duet with Arijita, who dubbed just after me. And I was so happy to see someone I know personally and I was familiar with in the studio. I really wish the song had seen the light of the day because it deserved to. But the movie business is full of uncertainties. You never know if a song or a movie will release, will be promoted well, and liked by the audiences. Even if all this happens, it may happen without you, as your version may be replaced any moment without respect and remorse. Today's work pattern or work culture of the industry needs an artist to be emotionally stable and also emotionally detached, as the world can unknowingly gaslight your reality by not giving you your due. Your sense of self-worth must not be affected ever by all this. My experiences in the field gave me many lessons about life, people in general, struggles and stardom. And although I am gaining a lot from my years as a professional artist, one question hits me at this stage of my life. Should I unlearn everything that I have gained in order to keep running in this race, or rat race to be more precise? Unlearning definitely opens many new doors for us, but something is for sure, that I am not the kind of person who will undo my roots to welcome everything that happens today. Toxic positivity has never been my thing, and I'm glad I'm like that. 12 years in this business is not a very short stretch of time, and I'm yearning for more despite so much inequality and shallowness. You might be wondering what keeps me going. My answer is music. What I do has immense power to both hurt and heal me. My heartfelt thanks to the people who had faith in me and gave me a coveted career graph which gives me the courage today to follow my heart. Next was a surprise which life had in store for me. What I unlearned now is that I was only a singer, because that was not true. Becoming an independent composer and songwriter started a new innings. My parents are its backbone. I can proudly say today that it is because of them I am who I am today, and I could realize my true potential. You really have to have good fortune to be around real and intense people and supportive people most importantly, would remind you of your intensity when you cannot identify it yourself.